Hi everyone, I'm Ann.
I'm Brian.
And we're gonna do some yoga! Yay! And what that means today is let's start with skeletal shaking to shake some life into our bodies if you're feeling kind of lifeless on this lovely February day. The sun is still setting outside even at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's great. We feel the change in season sneaking up on us here in Baltimore. So we'll shake off some of that winter crud today, as well as burn some out from manipura, the belly chakra. So there's really no wrong way to shake. I mean, I guess you don't want me shaking with your shoulders as much as shaking with your hips, but other than that, just keep a nice long suspended spine and allow the movements to be loose and free and easy and light. You can even let that shaking turn into twisting. Gently letting one hand maybe slap the other shoulder as you twist side to side while shaking. If it's a little too much for you to twist and shake at the same time, you can just come to stillness with the shaking and just twist. So stillness from the waist down, I should say. And then we'll come back, shaking. Maybe do a little bit of hip rolling. Loosen up the hips because we will be getting into some seated hip openers a little bit later. So feet can be about mat's width distance. And we'll just take the hips in circles. Maybe drawing big circles. Maybe drawing little circles. Whatever you like. When you're ready, switch directions, drawing circles the other way. Stretching through the psoas muscles as the hips come forward. Stretching through the hamstrings as the hips come back. Hands can be on your hips or down by your side. And let's also do some figure eights. To get the hips a little bit more lubricated. So feet are a little bit wider than hips width distance. We'll bring one hip forward and then back. The other hip comes back following the first. So just drawing the tailbone in sort of figure eight pattern above the ground. If you want to bring your arms into it, you can do a little backstroke. As one hip comes back, the arm comes back. You can maybe enjoy a symphony of floorboards squeaking. And when you're ready, we'll just shake that off again. Going back to our bodies. This time we'll bring one hip forward from the back and then the other hip forward from the back. So going the other way with the figure eights this time. And yes, Brian's feet wants to punch. Front stroke, if you like. It's one hip comes forward, the arm comes forward. As the other hip comes forward, the other arm comes forward. Swimming through your day, swimming through your practice, swimming through your life. And then when you're ready, we'll shake it all off again. At this point, feel free to grab a block or a book-like, block-like object just to stand on so that you have space for your leg to swing. I'm going to come to a wall. You don't have to do that though. And hello, Stacy. And we're just going to let the foot that's not standing on the block Swing back and forth. So Brandon, show you that'll swap with us. There we go. There we are. All right. So you can get the arms involved as the leg goes back, the arm comes forward, or you can use both hands if you want. We're gonna kick each other, you think?
I'm trying to make sure I kick forward while you're kicking back.
All right. And then I'm gonna show this from the side so that you can still stay at the wall. I'm gonna stand with one foot and just lift the other to the side like this. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the
Is that
shadow.
the same wall?
Yeah, same leg.
You were just kicking?
Mm-hmm. The leg that was just kicking comes out to the side and back, strengthening the side of the hips here. And then when you're ready,
No, that
is that what that is?
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
Learn something
Now
every
look it
day.
up.
So when you're ready, we'll turn around and do the same thing the other way. Legs swinging back, arms swinging forward, or if you're doing this in the
Yeah,
floor, slightly different. You can use both arms if you like. Loosening from the hip socket here. All right, and then when you're ready, we'll shake the leg off a bit, and this time bring the leg out to the side like I was doing before. You can stay at the wall, but this is what it looks like. Very nice. And when you're ready, we'll come off the block. Shake it all off again. If you have any other warm-ups you want to do before we do sun salutation.
No, nothing standing.
Nothing.
Let's work do some arm stuff.
It'd be fun to do warrior three again. That was kind of a nice one the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But we can put that in our sun salutation perhaps. All right, so feel free to come to the top of the mat. We're just gonna do simple sun salutation A from Ashtanga. So inhaling the arms out wide and up, slight back bend, exhale, arms come wide, swan diving to a forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you need to, particularly if you have spinal issue. Inhaling, coming up to a flat back, keeping the chin tucked so the spine is nice and long. Exhale, hands come to mat, step or jump the feet back, high plank. We'll hang out here for just a second, finding a good form in the plank. So heart is opening here, even though that might seem kind of strange. Breathing deeply. And then when you're ready, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to come down. Which one do you want to show?
I'll be chaturanga.
I'll do knees, chest, chin. So inhaling deeply, then exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Coming down inchworm style if you're doing knees, chest, chin. On the next inhale, we'll come up to a low cobra. So low, you can lift your hands off the mat. Exhale. Bending the knees, lifting the hips. The downward facing dog. You can pedal the heels down one by one, stretching out the hamstrings, the back of the thighs, the back of the legs. At this point, we're going to go way off the rails for sun salutation. We're going to bring the feet to touch behind us. Inhale the right leg long behind you. Try to keep the hips as even as you can, and that's not super easy here. Bend the knees. Inhale forward to scorpion. Or bend the knee of the extended leg. Inhale forward to scorpion. So my shoulders are over my wrists here. On the next exhale, we'll draw that right knee in towards the chest. Plant the right foot in between the hands. Left foot is still on the ball of the foot in the lunge. We'll inhale up for a standing lunge. We're taking no prisoners today. What do you want to do next? I was thinking warrior three, but if you have
I like that. Yeah, warrior three.
all right, man, let's do it. So from here, hands can come down to the chest. You can kind of step that left foot towards you a bit. And then just come into that bent knee. Woo! Finding your drishti or point of balance, something to look at that's not moving, that helps you maintain your sense of balance. So here we are in Warrior 3. If your standing leg, which in my case is my right leg, is making it hard for you to keep your left hip down, bend the right knee slightly, lengthen through the spine. Hands are at prayer, but they can come down by your sides if you like, or extend it out in front of you. Either way, inhale deeply here. Exhale completely, working on bringing that left hip down to be even with the right. And when you're ready, we're going to exhale and just come forward into standing split. So lifting that left leg nice and high. Here in your standing split, if you like, you can take one hand to the ankle of the standing foot, my right leg. Maybe the other hand comes here, balancing for a second. And then when you're ready, right and left hands can plant. Left leg comes down to meet the right and forward fold. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to keep a nice long lumbar spine. You can grab opposite elbows, sway side to side and ragdoll. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale halfway up, keeping the spine nice and long. Exhale, folding fully. Inhale, arms come out wide and up. Exhale, hands come down to chest for prayer. Brian, maybe we'll do the other side.
I will do the other side. If I can remember. I believe, jump in if I
I'll totally
forget anything.
interrupt you.
We're gonna inhale, reaching arms up wide, slight back bend if you like. Exhale, folding. Keep the knees bent if you need to here. We're gonna inhale, coming up to a flat back. Nice long neck, shoulders moving down the back. Exhale, fold again, and we're gonna step back into plank. And again, your choice of coming down on an exhale, either knees, chest, chin, or flat bodied chaturanga, either way. So coming down on an exhale, we'll inhale to come up into a higher cobra, if you like, or even upward facing dog with your legs, with your thighs off the ground, your choice. On an exhale, we're gonna come to the knees and tuck the toes and press the hips up, coming back into downward facing dog. Hang out here for a few breaths. Then let's step the feet closer together. This time we're going to inhale the left leg up. You can bend that left leg, come forward onto the arms a little bit, so more that your shoulders are sort of over top of your wrists, coming into scorpion here. On an inhale, we'll bring the knees into the chest, and then you can step that left foot down, coming into lunge position here. So you're on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, coming up into lunge. Left leg is in front this time. A few breaths here. And when you're ready, we're going to bring the palms to heart center in prayer position. And if you need to step up a few, that's okay. We're going to launch up. Let's do it. Try to do it with grace and not so much momentum, but more with the strength of our legs and core, coming into Warrior 3. Again, working on trying to keep the hips even. I know in this, it's easy to kind of sort of have the one hip coming up and the legs sort of poking out to the side. I'm going to try to point that back leg towards the earth. I'm going to try to get that right hip in line with the left hip. Again, your choice if you want to have your hands back here in airplane wings, or you can have them up overhead, or you can just keep them in prayer position. When you're ready, we'll bring the hands to the earth. We're gonna send that back leg up towards the sky, standing split. If you want to challenge your balance, you can try grabbing your ankle with one hand, grabbing your ankle with the other hand.
Woo!
It's okay to come in and out of it. I know I do. And then with the next exhale that you have, we're gonna take that back foot, that right foot down to meet the left foot. Again, feel free to bend the knees here, forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows, put your hands on the ground, you can grab behind your ankles, whatever you like to do. Just kind of moving a little bit, some dynamic movement through the hips and the legs here. And then coming back to stillness, we'll bring the hands to the shins. We'll inhale, coming up into a flat back, shoulders rolling down the back, nice long neck here, nice flat back here. Exhale, fold again. With the next inhale, we're going to take the arms out to the side, coming all the way up to standing, arms reach overhead, palms touch overhead, exhale, palms to heart position.
And then when you're ready, just shake it all off. Because why not? You really can't get enough shaking, especially when it's real gentle and loosey-goosey like this. So let's do just maybe a little more standing, like those side bends and the forward and back bend.
Yes.
And then
yes,
come
yes,
down
yes,
through a
good things,
squat,
yes,
through
good
hands,
things.
all this shit. Okay. Yay! When you're ready. You can either be big toes touching, maybe a couple inches between the heels, or hips with distance, your choice. We're gonna, let's do hips with distance actually. I'm sorry. I tell you one thing and then do another. Let's take the arms out to a T and do a little dynamic stretching before we do more static movement. So inhaling, let's bend to one side, hug a giant beach ball. Exhaling, hands come back to the T. Inhale, come to the other side. Exhale, back to the T. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. We'll just continue like this for a second. Just gently loosening up the side body. Inhaling through the side body as we fold from one side to the other. Spine is nice and long here, so as I go to one side and then the other, my hips aren't sticking out, my shoulders aren't sticking out. There's no awkward elbows or knees, ideally. And then next time your hands come out to the side, let's inhale the arms overhead. I'll step back. And this time on an exhale, we'll bend to the right. So again, you can see from the side, I'm not bending to the right like this or like that, but just straight to the right. From here, let's take our right hand down the right side of the body. You can even push into the right hip a little bit. Your hips kind of veer out to the left. You get a nice long stretch on the left side of the body. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale the arms back up. And this time, exhale to the left. Breathing deep, staying centered over your feet here. When you're ready, we'll take that left arm down towards the left hip. Allow yourself to go a little further. Left hips bump out a little bit to the right. Shoulders stay plugging into the back. And then inhale, both arms back out, coming back to standing. This time, let's take our hands down to the small of the back. They can either be palms face up, pointed up like this. I'm sorry, fingers pointed up like this, or fingers pointed down like this. What I'm going to do first is stick my tail out, see what that feels like, then tuck the tail. And as I tuck the tail, I'm going to lift through the heart, pointing it up towards the ceiling. So I'm not sticking my tail out as I point my heart up. I'm tucking the tail and keeping a nice long lumbar spine.
as my heart comes up towards the ceiling. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Maybe hips are coming forward a little bit. That's fine. As long as the heart stays open, shoulders tracking back down the back. Maybe even elbows tracking towards each other. And then when you're ready, now we'll stick the tail out. Slide the hands down the back of the legs. Maybe bending the knees to keep the spine nice and long as you come into your forward fold here. Just breathing deep. And becoming deeper into your forward fold. And then when you're ready, place the hands on the ground. Knees are bent here if need be. Let's toe heel the feet about mat's width distance. Toes pointing slightly out. If you need a block for your yoga squat, feel free to grab one and put it beneath where your hips are going to be in just a second. From here, we'll bend the knees, taking the hips down to a yoga squat, keeping the heart nice and open. No golem squats. Chin is tucked. Spine is nice and long and extended here. Breathing deep. You can either stay in the squat or come to child's pose, or if you decide that you would like to try crow, that's an option. And we're going to go even further to headstand too. So figure out where you want to get off the train. This might be where you get off the train, or we'll plant the hands, lift the hips, bring the knees towards the armpits, and then just come forward towards crow. Maybe lifting one foot, maybe lifting the other, maybe lifting both. You can either hang out here and curl for a little bit, or you can tuck the chin. Let the crown of the head rest on the ground here gently. Takes a lot of slow core strength to get to this. Then from here, if you want to bend the knees, bringing the feet towards the hips, lift the knees off of the forearm or the upper arms, pointing the knees towards the ceiling, either still next to the hips, and then straightening the legs, pointing the feet towards the ceiling. We'll hang out here in our tripod headstand for just a second. Again, maybe finding a drishti, an unmoving point of focus to help you with balance. And then when you're ready, we'll bend the knees, bringing the feet back towards the hips. Bending through the hips to bring the knees slowly back towards the upper arms. Then, if you want to come back into crow from here, push into the hands, look down, which really is looking towards your third eye. Look down towards the mat. Lift the head slowly. Here you are. Very nice, Brian. And you can come back in the squat if you did the whole crow thing or the crow headstand thing. And if you just did squat, we'll all come together in the child's pose. So hands come to the mat. We're on hands and knees here for a second. And it's up to you. This child's pose, knees could either be touching or they can be slightly wider than torso width. And we'll take the hips back towards the knees, stretching the arms out long in front of us. Letting the forehead rest on the mat. Breathing deeply.
Yeah.
Bird dog in it.
Yeah. So we're gonna, when you're ready, we'll inhale to come back into a tabletop position. So wrists under shoulders, knees directly under the hips. We're just gonna do some cat and cowing.
And if you want to put a blanket under the knees for extra support, if the floor beneath you is kind of hard, feel free.
Inhaling, tailbone comes up, belly drops, head comes up. Exhaling, tailbone drops, spine rounds, head drops. So we're just gonna go back and forth like this, inhaling into cow, Exhaling into cat. Going back and forth gently. Moving the spine. It's one of the best things you can do for your spine.
Unless you have spinal stenosis, in which case do not do cow, just do cat.
Cat flat back.
Cat to flat back if you have any kind of spinal issue.
If you feel like doing a circular motion with this, you can. Next time you inhale in the cow, on the exhale, round in the cat, and then keep rounding, coming back on the other direction, coming into cow. So it's like you're making a circular motion now with the spine. You can just let the head sort of relax and go with the movement of the spine. Whatever you do, just let the head relax. No pressure in the neck. And when you're ready, switch that direction that you're drawing that circle. And we'll just make our way back to tabletop position. We'll do something now. I used to call it opposite arm leg reaches, but Ann says it's called bird dog.
And it says it's called bird dog.
He's a bird
Not my
dog.
name.
So what we're gonna do is, again, lining up in tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're gonna reach that left arm forward, right leg reaches back.
Woo!
Take a few breaths here.
You can flex through the right foot if you like. Really push into the right hand to keep your body even over the ground here.
And when you're ready, we'll bring the hand and knee back down. And this time we're gonna reach the right arm forward, reach the left leg back. Hang out here for a few breaths. And then you can come back to tabletop.
Want to do next?
Yeah.
Let's go into heart posture.
Oh, yeah.
Because we haven't been in here in
So-
a while.
Walking your hands out, maybe one or two hand widths forward. So now they're not directly under the shoulders, but sort of a little forward of the shoulders. We're gonna keep the hips above the knees as we lower the chest and the head towards the mat. You can come down to your forehead. If you're feeling super flexible in your upper back and it doesn't feel like it pinches at all, you can even come down to the chin.
And I should mention, if you have rotator cuff injuries or this really hurts your shoulders to stretch them like this, you can come up to forearms like this, or my shoulders are right over my elbows, tuck your chin, and let the crown of the head come towards the mat for what some folks call rabbit posture. So lengthening the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, if you're in rabbit, you can lift your head. If you're in heart posture, we'll come up to our forearms and let's just slide the hips forward, coming into Sphinx. Sphinx. So if you have that blanket under your knees, maybe you want to scoot back and let it be under your hips if you have bony hips that dig into the ground for belly postures like this. So Brian just did a nice thing with his forearms. I'll show you what
I
he did.
measured them all.
He measured them all.
This is how you know you got good alignment with your arms. You want the elbows directly under the shoulders. One way to make sure that you have that. Can you reach them with both hands like this? If you can't, they're way out here.
You're
Move 'em in.
screwed.
You're screwed. Yeah. So measuring off like this, and then bringing forearms directly forward, palms face down.
Very
Try to relax shoulders down the back. Again, nice long necks, no this hunched neck stuff in Sphinx.
So we're also keeping our hearts open here, but there's some subtle adjustments I want you to do in this posture because Sphinx is a subtle posture, if nothing else. So my tail is sticking up a little bit here. I'm gonna actually lengthen my lumbar spine by tucking the tail. That actually gives me a little bit more leeway in the heart to open it up. I could have my chin tilted up like this to further open the heart, but I really want to keep that cervical spine happy, the neck happy. So I'm gonna tuck my chin a little bit, maybe getting a slight double chin from this. From here, now we get into the real subtle adjustments. So inhale deeply, maybe feeling your belly press into the ground as you inhale. And then exhale completely. And at the end of your exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine, which further lengthens the low back, lengthens the lumbar spine, tucks the tail down towards the heels. Keep that engagement in the navel, drawing it back towards the spine as you inhale now from the side and back body. And exhale again, engaging that navel towards the spine. That navel engagement is called Nabi Bandha. Bandhas are different locks in the body. Nabi Bandha is the lock that is kind of right around the navel. So keep Nabi Bandha engaged, and we'll just do a few breaths here. Inhaling through the back and side body. Exhaling, re-engaging Nabi Bandha if it's gotten loose again. Nabi Bandha. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling, drawing that navel towards the spine. Last time, inhale deeply. Exhale, draw the navel towards the spine. Find your fullest expression of your Sphinx posture. And then when you're ready, you can take your elbows out to the side. And exhale all the way down, maybe resting one hand on top of the other and putting one cheek on the hands. And let's just wag our tails a little bit, loosening any tension in the low back and the muscles around the sacrum, the quadratus lumborum, and all those wonderful, powerful muscles that go along the spine. You want to do legless or cups
Yeah,
if you want.
that sounds like a great idea. All right, so we're gonna do something called locust. But we'll do some leg lifts, and then at the end we'll hold in a locust position of your choice, and I'll give you different options. But we're just gonna start with legs first. So you can keep your hands here like this, or you can have them out like this. Or I like to keep mine kind of tucked behind me to the back. And we're just gonna lift one leg at a time. So inhaling whatever leg you want up first, and then exhale it down. We'll inhale the opposite leg up. Exhale it down. Try to keep your inhaling next leg. Try to keep your hips squared and not popping off to the side. We're just going back and forth, inhaling a leg up, exhaling it down, inhaling up the opposite leg, exhaling it down.
Like we're doing leg lifts on the bellies. We'll do them on our back in a minute.
And then for the last one, we're going to inhale both legs up. And you can inhale both arms up too, if you like. And then you have the options. You can have arms down here, like call it like airplane arm wings or whatever. You can have them out to the side. You can have them out in front of you. You can have them not at all. You can have them on the ground and just lift the legs. So whatever you'd like to do.
Or you can have your legs down and just lift the arms. See if that engages a different part of your core.
And when you're ready, we're going to exhale. Again, put your hands on top of each other. This time, turn your head to the other side. Then the other. Then you had it last time. Wiggle through the hips. We're just going to shake the hips back and forth a little bit, releasing any tension in the low back here.
And I think our last little adventure on our belly here is going to be some Cobra postures. So we'll do a few. We'll do small, medium, and large. So small Cobra, Let's take our feet to about mat's width distance for stability. Toes are tucked. Toes are pointed here, so the top of the feet rest on the mat. Let's draw our elbows down by our sides and put our palms right under our shoulders. And then from here, lift up into your low cobra. So kind of similar to what we were just doing in locust there. You can even lift your hands off the mat just to know that you're keeping it low and just keeping it to the upper core muscles. And then when you're ready, we'll exhale, come down, rest the head on the mat for a second. You can move your hands a little bit more in front of your shoulders here. So my elbows are still hugging next to my body. My hands are not directly below my shoulders, but kind of on either side of my neck, shoulder width distance. So from here, I'm going to push in my hands, keeping elbows bent, come into medium. Do small, this is medium. I probably can't lift my hands off the mat here without my legs coming up like that. So keep hands on the mat, but don't push yourself to your fullest expression. Just remember to keep the tail tucked here and the heart open. When you're ready, we'll exhale, come all the way down. This time, slide the hands a little bit more up the mat so they're on either side of the ears. And when you're ready, we're going to come up into our fullest expression of Cobra. If you can't find it more comfortable to come into the smaller medium expression, that is totally fine. Otherwise, we'll push into the hands, rounding the shoulders down the back, straightening through the arms. If you find you need to walk your hands back a little bit from here, that's fine, as long as you keep the tail long and the heart open. The curve in your spine is really in the thoracic spine, so that's pretty much the thorax, the belly to the neck. Keeping that heart open, tail tucked. Let's look over our left shoulder towards our left heel for a slight twist. And then when you're ready, we'll look over our right shoulder towards our right heel for a slight twist the other way. You can time it with your breathing. Inhaling to center. Exhale, look to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left. Inhale to center. Exhale, right. And we'll come back to center here. Come all the way down. Hands again, you can stack one on top of the other. You can rest your cheek on your hands. Just bend the knees. Come by the knees, windshield wiper side to side. Let's start off with the knees actually together for this. You can see what that feels like. And then if you want, you can turn your head the other way, resting the other cheek on the hands. And this time, let's put about maybe 10 inches in between the knees and keep windshield wipering side to side, feeling if this feels a little bit different on the thighs and the hips. And from here, I want to come onto our backs, but I kind of want to go following sort of a neat sequence to get there. So when you're ready, let's put the hands under the shoulders, come up to hands and knees. And we're going to come into saddle posture. So I'll show you real quick what's happening here. I'll turn around so you can see it from behind. Move this blanket. You might want to have some blocks handy for this because they will be helpful if your psoas muscles are extra tight. So I'm bringing my big toes to touch and my knees are about mat's width distance. From here, I'm going to sit back towards my heels. So my hips are actually inside of my heels here a little bit. My big toes are touching. I know that not everybody's body works that way. So just kind of make sure that the hip bones are aiming for in between the heels, even if you're just sitting on your heels. Then from here, this is when the blocks come in handy, or the books, or whatever kind of objects you have. Brian will show it from the front, I'll show it from the back, reclining saddle. So this posture itself with the knees nice and wide might be all you need. If you want to recline, you can slide the blocks back on either side, bend the elbows, and maybe that's your amount of reclining. I'll show from the side, actually, that'll be a little easier to see. So maybe that's as far as you go back, like this far. You can even put the blocks down further back and come onto the elbows. So already I've got a pretty intense dramatic stretch through the psoas muscles. If you feel like you have more, you can slide the blocks, maybe one on top of the other long ways. They're not on top of the other, but next to the other long ways. And then let the spine come down onto the blocks, maybe resting the head on your blocks like this. My shoulder blades are kind of hanging off the blocks. I'm getting a very, very deep stretch for the quadriceps, my thigh muscles, and the psoas muscles wrapping from the lumbar spine to the thighs. If this feels like it's still really easy for you, you can come up a little bit, move the blocks out from under you, and walk the hands towards the heels, bending the elbows, going all the way back onto your back. If you're this deep in this posture with the legs nice and wide, big toes still touching, lift through the hips a little bit to tuck the tail, and then let the hips come back down towards the heels. We want to keep a nice long lumbar spine here as best we can. I know there's a little bit of curvature of the lumbar spine. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Hands can rest on the belly if you like, feeling the inhale and exhale as the belly rises on the inhale and comes back down towards the spine on the exhale. And then when you're ready to get out of this, we'll bend the elbows, supporting the body again. Taking one palm to the mat, the other palm to the mat, coming up, walking the hands forward, coming towards hands and knees, and then taking the legs out to one side or the other. We'll come all the way down onto our backs on the mat. Maybe keeping the knees bent, soles of the feet flat on the mat. You can take the arms out to a T, and let the knees rock side to side. Loosening up the lumbar spine if it got tight at all in that reclined saddle posture.
So the next thing we're going to do is some leg lifts here. So let's bring the legs down the mat next to each other. And two options here. You can have your hands, next on the side of the body, palms face down when you do this. Or you can even do, I like to have, this is sort of a little cheat, a little support for the low back. You can put the palms on the mat directly underneath you. It's like you're sitting on your hands, thumbs are touching, palms flat on the mat. And we're going to inhale, and I'm going to give you both options. You can either do one leg at a time, or you can do both legs. So inhaling one or both legs, exhaling, slowly lowering. Slowly lowering is where you get the real workout. Inhaling either the opposite leg or both legs again. Exhale, slowly lowering. So we'll continue doing this, inhaling legs up, exhaling legs down. Maybe one more time. Maybe on this last one, you exhale and really go slow. And relax, let it out. Let's take the arms out into a T. Let's bend the knees, bring the feet to the earth. And then let's just let the knees windshield wiper side to side, releasing any tension in the low back.
Again, this one is so good.
Because this is just always good to do.
Yeah.
This just always feels good
It just always feels good.
for me. Shouldn't speak for the world. Maybe somebody has a really bad time with this.
Well, also, I feel like it might be nice to do a little bit of slight twisting from the hip rotators. So feel free to straighten the legs down the mat, one next to the other, but maybe, I don't know, about a foot between each foot, and just turn the toes back and forth, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. You can do it slowly or quickly like I'm doing. So loosening up from the hip flexors here if they've gained any tension from the exercises we've been doing. You might want to keep a block nearby or a block-like object, like a pillow that's very firm or something like that, because we are going to do some bridging now. So let's bring the feet right under the knees. I know that's kind of hard to tell, but for most people, they can reach their hands down the sides of their bodies and feel the heels with the tips of their middle fingers, unless you have kind of short arms and long torso like me, in which case you move your feet a little bit away from the fingers. When you're ready, let's inhale the hips up into bridge, keeping the knees tracking towards each other. If you are practicing with a block or a book or something about 4 to 5 inches wide, feel free to put it on the narrow side in between the knees as you come up, just to make sure the knees are tracking toward each other. If you're not practicing with a prop, that's fine too. Feel free to bring the heels out just a teensy bit so your feet are slightly pigeon-toed here. And that'll kind of help you keep the knees tracking towards each other as well. You're just breathing deeply here, watching the belly rise on the inhale, come down on the exhale. If you want support, you can actually take your block and place it under the hips, either low, medium, or all the way up. Resting the hips on the block, we aren't getting the same kind of strengthening, but we are getting a wonderful stretch when we do this. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. And then when you're ready, whether or not you've got a block under your hips, remove the block, you'll come all the way back down. This time, let's draw the knees in towards the chest. The feet come off the ground here. And this time again, we'll rock side to side. And then from here, when you're ready, come back to center, but keep the knees bent. We're going to interlace the fingers of both hands around the right knee and just straighten the left leg down the mat. Draw that right knee in towards the chest for wind relieving posture. You can flex through both feet if you like. Then we'll take that knee towards the right shoulder. So it's my right knee, woo, coming towards my right shoulder. You might feel a little adventure in the quadricep muscles here. And then from here, let's take our hands behind our right thigh. You can interlace fingers if you like, or you can just let the hands rest there. We're gonna inhale the legs straight, right foot is flexed, standing on the ceiling for a sciatic stretch. Exhale, release. So bend the knee, let the right foot be loose and wiggly. Inhale, lengthen. Flex the right foot, standing on the ceiling. Exhale, release. Let that right foot be wiggly. A couple more times. Inhale, stand on the ceiling. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, flexing. Exhale, release. This time, keeping that right knee bent, we'll bend the left knee, bring the sole of the left foot to the ground. Take the right ankle over the left knee. Figure 4 or reclined pigeon posture. We'll lift the left foot off the ground. And then maybe interlace the fingers of the right and left hand behind the left thigh. Or you can use a strap here behind the left thigh, drawing that strap towards you with both hands. We'll bring that left knee towards us and we'll energetically push the right knee away from the body as you draw the left knee in, keeping the right shin parallel to the ground. And then when you're ready, we'll bring that left foot back to the ground. Uncross the legs, lengthen the legs down the mat. Again, turn the toes in and out, in and out, in and out, and grind. Keep together. Then relieving posture on the left.
All right, so this time we're bringing the left knee into the chest. Right leg stays down the mat. Hugging that knee in. You can flex through, well, both feet if you want.
And then we take that left knee towards the left shoulder.
Yes.
Are you feeling a rounding of the left quadricep?
Then we're gonna do some sciatic stretches. So grabbing under that left leg, we're gonna reach that left leg towards the sky, flex the heel, and then relax the foot, bend the knee. Again, flexing the heel, straightening the leg, or flexing the foot, straightening the leg, relax the foot, bend the leg. Flex the foot, reach up ahead, straight up, relax the foot, bend the knee.
Did like 5 of these.
Couple more times, flexing the foot, reaching, relax the foot, bending. Maybe one more time, inhale, reaching the foot towards the sky, flex through the foot, relax the foot, bend the knee. Now we're gonna bend the right leg, bring the right foot to the earth. We're gonna take this left leg across the right knee, setting up for figure 4 here. You can lift that right leg, grabbing underneath the leg. So pulling that right leg towards the body. Inhaling as we energetically move the left knee away from the body. So you should feel this as an opening on the left hip.
And then keeping the legs like this, let's take the arms out, take them into a T. We can uncross the legs, draw both knees in towards the chest. Gently, it's almost like I'm gonna push into my hands to lift my hips using my core, just an inch off the ground and bump them an inch to the right, keeping my knees in towards my chest. I'm gonna let them fall one on top of the other to the left. Keeping both shoulders on the ground here as best as I can. If the knees have to come up a little bit so that you can keep your right shoulder on the ground, that's fine. Or if your right shoulder is popping up, you can lift through the left shoulder, bring the right shoulder down, bring the left shoulder down, and look over your right shoulder towards your right fingertips for a spinal twist. This is our last 7 postures before Shavasana. So milk it. If you want to get a little extra torque in your twist, you can bend the left elbow and hook the fingers of the left hand on the outside of the right thigh here. Drawing that right thigh towards the ground and push into the right shoulder towards the ground as well. And then when you're ready, arms come back out to a T, knees lift back up. And put your feet down just to center the hips for a second, then bring the knees back up towards the chest. We'll use the lower abdomen
lift the hips an inch off the ground, bump them an inch to the left this time, and then let the knees fall one on top of the other towards the right. If you find your left shoulder coming up like this, lift through the right shoulder and then bring the left shoulder down, or feel free to lift the knees a little bit off the ground. And then look over your left shoulder towards your left hand. If you wish to get a little deeper, you can bend the right elbow and hook the right fingers around the outside of the left knee. Breathing deep in your supine spinal twist. When you're ready, arms come back out into a T, knees lift back up towards the chest. You can bring the hips to center, lengthen one leg down towards one corner of the mat, lengthen the other leg down towards the other. And take the arms straight down from the shoulders. The hands come out a little bit from the hips here. And let's just turn the palms face down, face up, face down, face up. Kind of loosely and quickly. So you can get some loosening through the shoulders. You can add your feet to this. So turning the feet in and out, in and out, and in and out. And then gently look to the right and then the left, to the right and then the left. So I'm like a whole pachinko machine here. My hands are flipping back and forth. My legs are flipping side to side. And my head is gently looking side to side here. And then when you're ready, you can let the movement come to stillness. If you need to cover up or put on socks or anything, do anything to make your Shavasana as comfortable as possible, feel free to do so. I'm going to take off my glasses just to give my eyeballs a break. From here, I'm going to tuck my tail just a little bit, even if it's just the feeling of emotion more than the emotion itself. Tuck my chin just ever so slightly. My eyes are pointing straight up at the ceiling. And then I'm going to lift my heart an inch off the ground, tuck my shoulder blades together, and then let the heart come back down, keeping a nice open heart. I'm going to close my eyes, let my breathing soften, and allow the beneficial effects of this practice to really soak in Shavasana, final relaxation. When you're ready, if you're ready,
feel free to bring some life back to the fingers and toes. And rolling through the wrists and ankles, restoring movement to the body. You can take your legs together. Arms come long overhead, stretching long. And then drawing the knees in towards the chest again, rocking side to side on the hips. When you're ready, feel free to rock over to one side or the other, gently resting in the fetal position for just a second. And then pushing yourself back up to seated, maybe taking the time to sit up on a blanket or a block, whatever you like. And we'll seal this practice with a few rounds of prana mudra, the gesture of life force. So we'll inhale the arms out wide and up overhead. Exhale, palms come down, pushing down from you. Again, inhaling the arms out wide and up. Exhaling, pushing back down, maybe rounding through the spine as you do so. Last time, we'll inhale the arms out wide and up. When the hands come overhead, let's bring the palms together. Exhaling the palms together down in front of the chest in Anjali Mudra, gesture of prayer. And when you're ready, if you want to join us in an Om, you're more than welcome. We're going to inhale deeply. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us today. We might not be here next week, but we will archive any classes that we do.